Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, I want to talk about one of the better builds that I think beginners can take advantage of and absolutely crush through the campaign very easily, able to run around, stay safe, burn stuff down, and do lots of damage. A super fun and easy playstyle to get the hang of. We'll talk about the skills and how to play it and everything you need to know about grinding through the campaign with the Fire Sorcerer. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so the general gist of this playstyle is going to be Hydra and Firewall. You place a Hydra, you place a couple Firewalls, you keep moving, let stuff burn, reposition your Hydra if you need to, drop a couple Firewalls, let stuff burn. You've got your Flame Shield to move out and get out of trouble if you would like. And then you just kind of collect your loot while the rest of the enemies are burning down if there's any to collect, and then you move on to the next engagement. So super simple to play, allows you to constantly move and stay safe while you're ticking all of that burn damage. Here is another pack of enemies. I'll show you really quick. You drop the Hydra, and then you cover the battlefield in Firewalls like that, and now everything's gonna burn down. I can teleport or Flame Shield if I need to reposition or get out. And you just kind of run in circles and let everything burn down, and then you kind of collect the loot while the last of the fire damage is ticking away. So one of the easiest ways for beginners to get a grasp of the game, and also to be able to clear content that would be very tough. If you got a boss fight or something, it's very easy to just kind of run circles around them and keep moving while your Hydras and your Firewalls and your burn damage tick everything down. And as we pull open the build planner, I will link to this down below if you would like to pull up the link on your end, but it is super simple. So what we're going to be doing out the gate is going to be taking our fire generator, and we obviously want the mana right here. So you go down the left side. Now, I will say during the leveling process, when you're super early game, the arc lash is really good. So if you want to take that for like the first 10-15 levels and just blast everything down with your default plus like chain lightning or something, that's pretty good for the super early game, and then spec into some of like the Hydra Firewall type stuff a little bit later when you unlock it. Perfectly understandable. And I just kind of like ran around default left clicking with arc lash when I was leveling up those super early levels, and I was able to do it pretty quickly. So definitely consider that. I was able to get through the entire campaign in like I want to say like 10 to 12 hours. I was able to completely finish all of the story. So that's what I did. Lightning at first with Arc Lash, then I transitioned into kind of that burn style. But anyway, for the purpose of this, we're going to take the fire generator and then also the flickering bolt to get the extra mana generation. Now, we're not really taking any of the core skills at all. We don't need it at all. So we're just going to take the minimum to unlock the next tier and get us into right here where we're obviously always going to max out glass cannon on basically any build that we do for the sorcerer. And then eventually you're probably going to want one of each of your armors, like right here, your defensive skills, and even Frost Nova can be pretty good. You can kind of like cycle through. So getting like +1 defensive on your amulet can be very strong. So look out for those when you're playing, but you take these. Now you can customize this a little bit. I like to have the heal right here on Flame Shield, so you can come up and scoop that if you would like. And then once you're down to Hydra, obviously we're going to max that out for a burn Hydra build. Take this. Now I like to take the Hydra burns for an additional 12%, but like you could try the critical strike one, and if you like how much harder the Hydra is hitting, maybe when you get 2 Hydras, like if you get that special aspect that has the 2 Hydras, that would be a decent option. But I do also like the burn damage. So keep an eye on that, try both of them and see which one you like more. And also along that line, if you have the extra Hydra aspect, it can be kind of nice to take this one right here, because you can get the 6% damage by having the 2 Hydras. There's also an enhancement or an enchantment you can get that gives you another Hydra based on spending some of the energy. So you could get up to like 9% extra damage. So that one could definitely be fun depending on your aspects and your enchantments and what you're going with there. You can also kind of spend enough points just to make sure you kind of get down here to be able to take Firewall, light this up. Now, I like to take the one up here for just a consistent burn damage. That way, if something just like runs into your Firewall, it's going to burn for 3 seconds instead of really not doing anything. So I like to take that one just for a little bit more consistent burning on the battlefield. But if you want to try out the mana regeneration, that is perfectly fine too. You're going to be able to cast more things during the fight. So again, mix and match and go ahead with the one that you like more. Now down here on this side of the tree, these 4 skills right here, this diamond or square, however you want to look at it, but these 4 skills right here, these are really good to max out during the leveling process. So you're going to want to take those. Those are all going to help you either get sustained from the heals or get more mana regeneration, all things that are really good right here. And also standing still. I kind of like this. You drop your barriers, you stand still. There's also an aspect that helps you do a lot more damage for standing still. So I think it's a good opportunity to kind of like line up the battlefield, stand still, drop your Hydra, drop your walls, kind of let that standing still damage tick up, and then move when you have to. And then for our last one down here on the bottom right, so like combustion will be a little bit better for some of like the boss fights and the really tough opponents that you're facing. But if you're just like speed farming, clearing a dungeon, then I would say that the ferocity one is going to be better. So again, this is going to be a choice of yours. I kind of like to take the combustion. It's a little bit more just guaranteed consistent value. And also up here in the firewall tree, you want to take your pyromancy skills that are over here to the right and at least put 1 point in each of them. But I mean, pyromancy skills dealing more damage when healthy is very good because you're going to be very tanky. You're going to be constantly healing with this build. So I do like that. And then these other 2 are decent as well. They're worth a point. And then that's kind of like the gist of the build. After that, with whatever points you have left, you can kind of mix and match and try other stuff. This is just a leveling build where you run around, you drop your Hydra, you drop your firewalls, you burn stuff down, you use your teleport, your barriers, and your flame shield to heal and kind of move through things when you need to and all of that. And it is an extremely simple build to play. Now, before I move on to showing you how to play it in action, like in a dungeon, really quick to recap, I do want to talk about the enhancements and also some of the codexes to watch out for early game and stuff from your dungeons. Now, I think like the ones I went with right here are the Firebolt, which is going to be direct damage from skills, is going to apply additional burn. It's just super consistent bonus. And then also same with the Firewall, since we're applying all of those burns, we've got a chance to spawn 2 firewalls underneath an enemy for 3 seconds. So again, it's just more burning, more firewalls, more damage, and super consistent. But honestly, there's a lot of other ones that are very, very good. I think most sorcerers would probably say that the Fireball enchantment is a god tier 1, and it is. It's whenever you kill an enemy, they explode in a fireball for 50% of its damage. So this is, again, is similar to the one that we were talking about on the bottom right of the tree. It depends. Like, this is useless in a boss fight, but it's really good for like large clearing a room, event farming, stuff like that. It's going to be great if you're like group grinding with dungeons and stuff with a party. The Fireball enchantment going to help you just kind of blow up the battlefield really quickly. But again, it is completely worthless against bosses. So I did go with the Firebolt as far as the build is concerned, because it's going to be a lot more consistent and it's never going to be worthless. Now for your Codex of Power, which by the way, you can access this in game by hitting the Y key, at least on PC. You hit Y and it brings up your collections menu, and then you go to your Codex of Power and sort by class only. So some of the ones that you really want to watch out for, I mean, coming into contact with Firewall, granting you speed is nice. It's not amazing, but it's decent quality of life. And then what's like the more important ones? Basic skill core can be good for the right build. Deal 5% increased damage for each second you stand still. Again, I like that. I think it's nice to get the extra damage. Like pop a barrier, stand still for a little bit, and then just burst damage. So I like this aspect of Inner Calm, and it's worth thinking about watching out for. Also, this aspect of Might, where basic skills grant 20% damage reduction for 2 seconds, as long as you're constantly spamming those basic skills, running around using them to keep your mana regenerating and stuff like that, can be really good for boss fights and make you a lot more tanky. And then otherwise, using a cooldown skill gives you 15 mana. That's great because we use a lot of those on our bar. You can see we've got teleport and then also the flame shield, and you can also throw in the ice barrier as well in here on the tree right here, the ice armor. You could throw that on there and you get even more. You can kind of cycle through all 3 of them and just constantly get that little buff to your mana and always have a barrier or some sort of defensive mechanic live. So now I'll pop into a dungeon and show you what it looks like here as you're playing. It is super simple, like I said. So remember, we've got our flame shield. That's going to give us a little bit of movement speed and help us kind of burst out of the scene and get out of there. And it's also a healing potion for us. So I like to prioritize using that instead of my charges on my potions, because this is going to come back for free in a little bit of a cooldown. And then we have our also teleports. We have 2 kind of get out of jail cards where we can pop something and get out of there. And then otherwise, we're just dropping Hydras and Firewalls. We're just going to move through Hydra, Firewall, Firewall, reposition, Hydra, Firewall, Firewall, and then whenever there's a big fight or something with a lot of HP, we could stand still for a little bit if we have that aspect, and then burst down with some extra burning damage. So when you come up to enemies like this, you drop a Hydra, and then just kind of coat the battlefield in Firewalls, reposition, Hydra, Firewall, Firewall, and everything is dead. And then you can spam at one of them to stand still and generate mana if you need to. So let me go up to another pack here, big pack. Drop the Firewall. Remember, you have teleport to get out of there if you get walled in or something. Keep your Hydras up. I'm low on mana, so I'm going to stand still for a little bit. Pop my Flame Barrier. Hydra, Firewall, Firewall, and then I can spam to regenerate some mana right here, and it is going to burn down. So while it's burning down its last HP, you kind of run around and collect loot, and then you keep it moving. And boss fights are super simple. You drop Hydra, Firewall, Firewall, and then just keep running in circles. Let your mana regenerate. Hydra, Firewall, Firewall, super simple, and it is super hardcore friendly and is going to help you kind of get a beginner introduction to playing the Sorcerer. Now, fair disclosure before we end the video, I don't think this is going to be like the best or the meta build for blasting through as fast as humanly possible. I think this is kind of like the best build for an introduction to Sorcerer, and also staying super safe and tanky, kind of playing in a lazy way where you can just drop Hydras, drop Firewalls, watch a YouTube video while you're leveling up in the campaign or whatever. So I thought it would be a fun one to share here on the channel. And I'll also drop a link down below to the build planner if you want to be able to pull up the skill tree and look at it on your end. So that'll do it for me on this one. I appreciate all of you. Remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Diablo 4 content. And I'll see you soon in the next video. Peace.